Hello everybody, welcome back to another dev stream breakdown. There's a bit of tinfoil hat going on in this one as well because there's a couple of stuff and things that do get said during this one that are kind of interesting. But we're going to try and do a quick scan through of a couple of things because honestly there was not a whole lot of meat to this stream, but I did take it from a 2-hour stream down to 48 minutes, but only because some of it I just kind of wanted to quickly scan through and show some of the stuff and things. So first off, we are doing the programmers, the developers, basically everything having to do with zombie AI, the gore settings, the maps, the random gen, all kinds of stuff like that. That's what they were going over today. So first things first, we've got these guys, then we've got a preview quality for those of you who have never tried to generate a world to see what the preview would look like. They have also enhanced the ability to do previews. You can do high quality previews, low quality previews, and from here you can actually generate your world from this after making the map so that you don't have to go back in and remember the name of the map that you created. Alright, here's where they're actually showing you can go straight from that to bringing in a new game. Here we have a looks like a new saloon. Room and drinks, and this is not a saloon that's actually in a, from what I can tell, a western town. This is just like a, I don't know, a very old school saloon in a small town, which is very, very cool. I think it shows it again later, right here. So that's another POI they've apparently built but have said nothing about. Okay, and they also talked about there's more traders per kilometers or whatever. Basically, the map is going to have 1.5 kilometers in between each trader or thereabout is what they said during this section. Okay, this is something else. At one point, let me see.
Yeah.
I remembered where the forest was. It's fine.
Okay, now just one thing that I wanted to point out because it wasn't shown during the actual thing. For those of you who have not played around in the debug menu, you may not even know that there is a way of taking care of certain things whenever it comes to your map. I actually have a Liz Labs over this because I thought it was a new feature, but it was not a new feature. It was an old feature, but I had never seen it before. But apparently even Lathan did not realize that this feature was in here. If you are looking for a particular biome, an overlay of your map, if you're trying to figure out whether or not your biome is evenly dispersed or whatever, and you didn't do like a preview, there's this button right here in the debug menu. When you turn on debug menu and then go into your inventory, go into your map area, there's this button right here that you could turn on, and you can turn on the overlays where it shows your cities, your roadways and stuff like that. You can turn on your biome indicators and stuff like that, so that's actually very, very handy. I wish Lathan had done that. They searched for a while to try and find the proper biome, and that would have saved him some time. For those of you who don't know about that, I'll see if I can find the video and link it in the top right hand corner if you guys are interested in seeing all the stuff and things I was exploring on the map during that Liz Labs. Okay, and here they're just basically talking about the placement of all of the POIs. The outlaying POIs are more evenly distributed around, and there are roads with smooth roading going to each one of them, so you're not going to have a hard time trying to get your vehicle. They might slow down, but they should be able to traverse from one area to another area. For those who have been around since Alpha 17 and 18, you know that there are some roads that were just not roads. They were sitting like this, and the road is supposed to go this way, but the road was like this, so it wasn't actually a road. The roads have been fixed and patched, and they look better than ever. I'm gonna say I don't recognize this POI right here. Oh, the nameplate. Oh, thankfully Editing Liz was on it whenever she was doing this. She actually put in a whole bunch of stuff and things telling me exactly what they were conversating about so I could scan through faster instead of doing 48 minutes worth of this footage. These nameplates and stuff, the ones that show up as soon as you go into a new area, apparently in the latest version that they're doing, the nameplates are smaller. They're not as intrusive. I'm hoping eventually they get a transparent background, which would look a little bit better, and maybe slightly bigger skulls so that you could still see them, but they don't look like that. Let's keep it going. Here they were manufacturing maps and talking about how long. Basically, a 10K map took them about 2 minutes, and we already established Lathan has got a top NPC. Here they are showing off the default quality, what the preview map is going to look like, and you can actually manipulate the map and zoom in. I have no idea whether or not you could zoom in before. I don't recall that being a feature. But now you can actually zoom in and see kind of like the city skylines even in the default quality. And later on, if you go into the higher quality, and as you can see at the highest quality, we're actually seeing, like, you can tell this is Dishong and you can tell this is the construction site. Those are pretty freaking sweet. I'm not sure that I would ever try that unless I was trying to create a map for a specific reason. Like I had a specific goal in mind. Now, we are in here with the programmer Steve, who obviously really likes dismemberment. So we get in here and you can see a whole bunch of stuff and things. Okay, something else that they kind of sort of pointed to but didn't really point to. Apparently in the debug menu now, whenever you push the buttons to turn the AI on and off, and for those people who are out there who do tutorials, who do testing, who are probably making mods or whatever, you're probably going to want to test the AI against the things that you are building. If you are a POI builder, you're probably going to want to know how your zombies are going to pass through your building when a character walks into it. So chances are you're going to want to be able to turn the AI on and off during testing, and you're going to want to turn the animations on and off during testing. So apparently now, not only can you still do that, there's quick keys for it, and I'm gonna have to learn the quick keys, but anyway, now it actually gives you an indicator here when your AI is off, which was not there before because it was always kind of questionable about whether or not the AI was off, which is really, really cool. And there you go, the animation is off and the AI is off, which is awesome. Let's continue to scan through. They spend a long time hacking all of the bad guys' stuff and things off. Hang on.
There it is.
And then you can also use a blunt now for the right. There will be a slight difference. Maybe try the lower, so go for the hand. Oh, it's okay. Same difference there. But now if you turn...
We can load up another one. I mean, we can do this all day.
Okay. Everybody. Back on the animation now, which will be control again, and the star key.
Okay.
Okay, so basically they have got different cut points for whether or not you're using a blunt or a sharp weapon. If you use a blunt weapon, the wound point is going to be gristly. There's going to be more jiggly bits to it, but they all have jiggle physics on the stubs and stuff, is what they're basically showing off right here.
A little bit when you have blunt dismemberments, which is a nice kind of thing that we have added.
So down to there.
Yep.
Aww.
Okay, so that's what they did. And they spent a long time working on this, showing off the different ways you can dismember the zombies. They have got some that have got like helmets on that you can knock the helmet off. The hoodie guy, it gets kind of gruesome. I'll be honest with you, it gets a little bit gruesome, but is also very immersive looking, so I am completely chill with this. Lovely. All right, moving on.
Already.
Flooding of
I hope
zombies.
y'all had dinner already. Darlene would probably be a good one with the head.
Okay.
Again, he's attached there.
I mean, you heard it from a developer, guys. Actually, I think he's a programmer, but now we know this about Karen.
The sledge?
I think dismember works for both. So if you shoot...
Oh boy. Okay, yeah, let's just leave that right there. That's a whole lot of stuff and things. Bye! Alright. And this section right here, they're timed stuff. That is exactly like the ghouls in Fallout. Exactly. If you somehow or another manage to take off their legs, they synchronize. In my earlier years, I actually put that to music and put it up as one of my beginning videos. I have no idea even if it's still on the channel, but that's exactly what that reminds me of. Okay, let's go ahead and show this one. because it does look rather cool. And it's not just the fact that there are body bits everywhere, it's the fact that the zombies move out in an umbrella-ish fashion away from the explosion, which is pretty cool too. You know, plus also, you know, body bits and stuff like that. Apparently there's a limit to how many body bits can be in your vicinity at one time, because the game is only going to allow a certain amount to keep lag down, so... And also, during the first dev stream, there were conversations going on between people in the comments, or people in the chat, and the developers were like, wait a minute, I think we can actually do that, and they went back and did it. They made it to where whenever you add an item into the forge, it will show up on the workbench, which is very cool because it gives you a visual. You can look at your workbench and see whether or not you have bellows, an anvil, a crucible, or whatever. Plus, there is also a light up feature whenever you have, there'll actually be fire burning inside of it. You'll be able to see it. Plus, it will slightly glow when you have a job going, and the workbench does the same thing. So you can see before and after, it's like the light goes on, you know that you have a job currently working on it, so you could set a job up, and if you come back and the light's off, you know that it finished the job. Okay, here they're talking about reflections and the FPS, and I just have like very tiny things to say about this. First off, reflections do make the game look better. The problem is most consoles, most people do not have a PC that will handle the RAM that this game takes, plus adding in the reflections the way that they are. And then later on, okay, I'll just stop it right here because it's kind of hard to tell. The resolution that the video is in is 720, which means it's kind of lower res. But anyway, with the reflections on, it does look more realistic. The problem is at no point during all of this did I notice his FPS get to 50, much less 60, while playing. And according to them, Prime has got a very significantly beefy PC running this. So if you turn this setting on, chances are it's not going to run very well. And if you're someone who's not actually recording or caring whether or not you hit that 60 FPS or whatever, then that's going to be completely okay for you. Or if you're probably getting 60 FPS, but you're not recording or you're streaming, you don't have other things going on the PC. I know some people like to play the game and maybe watch a YouTube video or something like that while they're playing. So if it doesn't bother you, you could probably get away with the reflections if you have a beefy PC. But if you've got a beefy PC and you're recording and or streaming and or whatever else you might be doing, that setting may not even work. So all of the effort that went into it, most people are not going to be able to utilize, which is sad, but that's just the way it is. Here, very quickly, they are talking about the smoothing of the scope. Plus, they actually have a zoom sensitivity and acceleration that they have added in, which is pretty cool because it was kind of chunky, the zoom quality, whenever you use your mouse to zoom in on the 8x scope. A lot of times it would jump or skip pixels or whatever else like that, and it just really wasn't a good time. Now they are talking about vehicle stuff and things. Each one of the vehicles has got its own sort of animation for whenever it starts to break. The vehicles, whenever they hit 25, start to put out a little bit of smoke or spark or something like that. And then once it hits it's got nothing on it, it will either catch fire or in the case of the bike, it starts smoking. Game reasons, apparently the chain came off and friction and I don't know. The point is all of them give you a visual indicator of when the damage has gotten too much. Plus we also get to get like a little bird's eye view of how much damage your vehicle can possibly do. And that's just a bicycle. Hang on, later on they bring in a 4x4. Okay, and right here you can actually see once it starts getting around the 25%, you got the smoke coming out the back, and there's actually the full-on fire coming out of the engine area. Now, with these, let's see, they actually start running over a lot of bad guys. Where's the lot of bad guys? And it can actually plow through a lot of bad guys. It can carry them pretty fast. Now, the only issue is it's not showing us how much damage it's doing, but as it's actually killing some of them outright, or dismembering them, you can those freaking large nameplates. You can kind of see that a couple of them actually died from one hit. So the vehicles, while taking a significant amount of damage, are also taking out a significant amount of damage into a zombie butt, which is pretty cool. Moving on. What's the best way to describe what it is they were talking about? Basically, your character has stamina in water that they will use up, and they will start to sink below the water if you use all of your stamina. You use stamina regardless to whether or not you're shift swimming, like run shift swimming, however you want to say that. So you'll start sinking below the waves if you start running out of stamina, so be careful when traversing the water. The animation is more fluid, more solid, and there is momentum underwater, which means when you stop, you won't auto-stop. You'll slide a little bit like you would probably if you stopped swimming in water. So there's that. And moving on. Here they talk about some other stuff. Let me turn the volume back up.
People are mentioning boats in chat. Yeah, we're thinking about it. We're working on it. We have a prototype raft. It's just not done yet. We're still thinking of reasons to why you would want to be in the water or not be in the water.
Reasons to be in the water or not be in the water. And then later on,
having a raft be useful to you, and then probably introduce some kind of water enemy.
So they do still have other plans. I don't know how much of a priority this plan is, but they understand that people have been wanting a boat for this game for a long time. But the developers want to make sure that whatever that they include in it is adding to the gameplay ability of it, like just traversing the water or whatever. And yes, you do have to worry about zombies walking along the bottom and scaring the crap out of you now, but your character has the ability to move probably at about the same pace as a zombie, so they're going to consider adding in, probably, I would think, like the best thing that they could probably do is like a piranha type of something or another, or a scavenger creature in the water. Zombie piranhas? I don't know. Zombie piranhas would be cool. Scary, but cool. Also here they were talking about there was a bug with this alpha where, bug, but it was actually a feature that some people were enjoying where zombies couldn't spawn inside water, even though they could swim and they could walk in the water and stuff like that. The zombies were, if you don't know how a zombie spawn works, like the, what is it called? The random hordes. Whenever the random hordes try to spawn in, if their spawn point happens to be water, the spawn will fail. It won't do it. Then it'll try again later on to spawn it somewhere else, and as long as you're still close to water and it keeps trying to spawn it in the water, it will continue to fail to bring in the zombie horde that you would normally get, which might be the reason why people haven't recognized as many hordes or screamer events that they have in the past, is because whenever the game calculated the random location it was going to spawn it was in water. And the game wouldn't do that. Now the zombies actually have the ability to spawn in water. It will try, I think he said try several times to spawn it on land, but after a certain amount of counts, if it still can't spawn it, it will spawn it in water anyway. So the water bases in the next alpha will not work. You're gonna have to come up with something else. It will be able to spawn there. It might take longer and it may not do it as often, but it will still spawn. That's not how you spell steal, editing Liz. Okay, but I'm not gonna come in here and fix your stuff. Here they're talking about tag comment. Editing Liz was sleepy when she put all of this stuff together. It's not my fault. Apparently now if you're out hunting, the zombie will now eat your hunt, which is cool and very immersive, and I kind of very much like this feature. He did say that the wolves will not do it, though I think hopefully later on they'll add the wolves to it. But zombies will also eat raiders in next alphas. Whenever the raiders finally come out, the zombies might go after the body of the raiders. Now, it does show later on that not all zombies will get attracted to the kill. They might hone in on you, because Editing Liz was like, hey, this could be a method for, like, distracting a zombie. Like, if you play with the zombie horde mod, where you get big hordes, if you could, I don't know, run the horde past a bear that you just killed, you might be able to attract a whole lot of the zombies off of you by killing the bear. Not that that's a good, swap, but, if you felt the need to. But Now, the problem is they may not necessarily aggro to the kill. Hang on, he spawns in like 5 or 6 or so. Here we go. And he's trying to walk them around the kill that he just did. And you can see they're kind of, sort of paying attention to it, yet not paying attention to it. I think by the end of the little experiment, like 2 of the 5 people, zombies that he spawned in, paid attention to the kill, and then the others didn't. But something else, the zombies actually damage the kill, as in if you kill the zombie after it starts eating your kill, then there's going to be less meat on it, and they can also finish the kill off, which means you won't get any of the meat. So I guess that's something to be aware of. The next section is kind of interesting, kind of cool-ish, if you'll see the way that happened. I really like doing these in the editing software, you guys let me know. But the ability to rewind and stuff like that, to look at the stuff and things, really, really slow. But the physics of how the explosions work on the blocks now is what they're actually testing out. They put in a new mod weapon, developer weapon, or whatever, to test how certain things interacted with physics, to figure out basically how to program the blocks instead of straight falling down like they would before if there's an explosion, for them to burst out and then to fall, which is very, very immersive if you'll see the way that that's working. He threw it in, and that, I'm sorry guys, but that is really, really cool to me. Alright, and this one I actually saved this. This is still talking about the explosives, but he conveniently also goes over to a couple of POIs that are new. We got Bo's Market here. And he's still testing the explosives, but then he goes next door to pick on the other building, because apparently because wood blocks are lighter, they go further and their physics are a little bit different. You see how much bigger that explosion was? And I think Bo's that was right next door was probably cobblestone or something like that. But you can see these blocks are definitely going. But this is yet another POI we have not seen, which is pretty cool. And this is a POI we have not seen, that they are just conveniently throwing. It looks like they're trying to move the entire building. Like either they're putting it on this tract of land or they're moving it off this tract of land, which is kind of cool. And these are the actual explosions, like the ones we have, the highest damage explosives we have. Alright, then they start talking about another dev tool and POI editor tool, and that's the terrain builder. And basically the terrain builder, you hit one button, it builds up the terrain. You hit the other button, it sinks in the terrain, it eats away at the terrain. Plus there's a way of changing the type of terrain that you're building with by going and picking out another terrain type, and you can build inside that terrain type. Plus you have the ability to change the shape to be like absolutely massive, to create big caves or big mountains. So he's just changing the terrain type to gravel right there, which is pretty cool. For anybody who is a POI builder, that's probably going to be helpful. Okay, and then we got on to Lathan talking about a whole bunch of stuff and things, and this is where the big tinfoil hat theories happen, because Lathan both describes and yet hides a lot of information around the Twitch integrations. First, he's talking about all the stuff he had his hands in on working with, which has to do with the tool harvesting, which we already went over in the first one. I would definitely recommend going back. The thing that I saw here that they did not talk about during that is if you are in this book area where you're actually checking to see what books you have read and you find out, hey, I can actually make this item because I read enough, it shows up here and then you can click on it and it takes you into the crafting section. Plus there's also this little button to delete, I guess if you just don't want to hit your backspace, if you don't want to take your hand from your mouse to your backspace. I understand, because then you have to find your mouse again and not hit it off your desk, which I have done. There's a convenient little button here now to delete what was inside the blank, which is cool. He also worked on the Dew Collector. And let's see, he is chit-chatting more about all of the stuff and things. I could have listed all of the stuff and things, but hang on. Right about here, he starts talking about the thing that I wanted to theorize about.
Let's see, the trigger system changes. I don't know if actually, I don't think I want to talk about that. I don't want to talk.
Let's listen to that again. A little bit more volume on that.
Let's see, the trigger system changes. I don't know if actually, I don't think I want to talk about that.
The trader system changes. I don't think I want to talk about that. We did talk a bit about the trader system changes, as in the more jobs you do for a trader, the more they like you. The more likely they are to give you different type of loot that you can buy from them. So, your trader stage has to do with your personal game stage and how many jobs you have done for the trader. So doing jobs for the trader is more important than it has been in any other alpha. This is going to be the one where people are going to be basically doing a ton of trader missions trying to bring up the levels that they have with their different traders. Plus, the traders are all going to be specialized, meaning that every single one of the traders is only going to carry a certain amount of off-topic items, like you're going to have to go to a specific type of trader if you want to get vehicle bits, or something like that, and you're not going to be able to just do one trader. You're going to have to get each one of them up to a certain level, so it's going to be more like Darkness Falls. If you want that special item from that trader, you're going to have to do missions for them, which is going to stretch out that gameplay, though it might get a little repetitive, which makes me curious what he means by this. What kind of system changes have they made? And this is where the theories start, because then he starts talking about the Twitch integrations.
I don't want to talk about that. That is a giant tease, everybody, and I do apologize, but
These guys do a lot of teasing.
we gave level design some fun things to do with the trigger system,
Trigger system.
and I just don't. I don't know if I want to give away those surprises. Actually, that would actually take away from some of it, and that was a part of the reason why we were not showing them as much in the level design stream. We didn't want to give away some of those. Only some people use, and that's fair. That's fair. It is
Now listen to what he's saying here.
something that is good for streamers, but also in the process of making that, we built a system called the game event.
The game event. For those of you who are not streaming, have not been to a Twitch streamer, first off, take a look at some of the people that you typically watch on YouTube. Chances are there's like 1 or 2 days a week that they might also stream, in which case they might use Twitch integrations. Twitch integrations, basically someone uses points that they get just by listening to the streamer over time, and they can vote on and or use those points from just listening to cause an event to happen in the game. More zombies, loot drops, all kinds of different things. I have been completely surrounded by bears, slowed down, my ammo turned off, all at the same time, and completely chewed up by a demo. So there's a lot of good combos in there, but because they worked on the Twitch integrations, they worked on something called the event system, which is basically by doing this thing, it causes this event to happen. Which may, by itself, not sound very important until you start going into
System as well. And that's kind of what powers the Twitch integration. And we use that in things all through the game, and we're going to slowly start using it more and more. One of the things you guys keep talking about in chat, there is something that we teased like 4 times. I mean, we kept teasing it. It uses game events.
It uses game events. We've been talking about the cop car this whole time. And he actually mentions the cop car later on. It's kind of confirmed that that is an event. By activating or doing something with the cop card, it causes an event to happen, whether doing certain items would cause like a specific type of spawn, or like say you walk up to the cop car, you grab a hold to it or interact with it or break into it, and it spawns an actual cop. Or maybe it activates a sound that triggers a spawning event of several different things. So you could clear the whole area, but suddenly some activity, some action causes a spawn event. So that's probably not even the only thing that it could possibly cause. It could cause a few other things. I don't know exactly what, but to me it just seems like it might be similar to, like in Darkness Falls, certain vehicles, if you try to break into them, or even if you just check them, they set off a car alarm and they attract a whole bunch of zombies. I don't actually know, even though I've played it twice, I don't know whether or not it actually spawns them in or if it just calls them in. It kind of felt like it spawned them in. To me, it felt like it. So I'm thinking maybe they actually introduced that into the base game as an event, is certain things that you interact with will actually force a spawn of zombies. Or possibly other items could happen, I don't know. There's a lot of different things, And I have seen some of the very malicious things that they have added to Twitch integrations, some of which I know my chat in Twitch is going to absolutely love because I'm going to have to activate them. For those of you who didn't know, I stream Wednesday evenings, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I stream a server on Twitch. So every single time we do that, it's like, for right now, we're doing a PvP server. We did a PvP weekend, but it was on Wednesday, where we all got together in a western town and we're basically shooting each other. We were in teams and Twitch integrations was on, so you could choose your team that you wanted to support or hinder and spawn a whole bunch of things in or things to help people. So it was very, very fun to use. Let's see if we can't find more of the stuff and things that he was working on. Now they have different presets that you can use. You can have a casual preset where basically people can help you out or do minor things to annoy you. There's actually things that you can change. A lot of the Twitch integrations are more customizable, and now there's more things that can trigger them. Like when somebody subscribes to your channel, when someone follows your channel, when someone raids your channel or something like that, it can cause a specific event to happen. Whereas before, it didn't. It was only by watching and using the points from watching that would cause events to happen. Now it's more integrated than it was before, which is absolutely amazing. Just by one content creator rating another content creator, it can set off an event. Okay, this one is one that they are showing that he was working on. Oh boy. There are some very troll-like ones that are specific. Nobody get upset because first off, if you don't turn the Twitch integrations on, it can't affect you. You have to actually activate them. Secondly, for a lot of these things, you can customize which actions are allowed in your stream. So if the extremely troll actions are not something you want in your stream, you deactivate it and not have to worry about it. But this one right here, my chat very much enjoys screwing around with my backpack because I am OCD, and when all of the stuff inside my backpack is all mixed up, it frustrates me to no end. There's actually a thing here to mess up the containers in your base. All of the containers in your base get ruffled. And it doesn't fix it at the end. You have to go back and find all of your stuff and things. And if there are random containers inside of your land claim, it can move them. He was walking around trying to find a bird's nest inside of his land claim because apparently the stuff out of his boxes could be moved inside a bird's nest because it was inside his land claim. Can you imagine all of the cool little containers people use and the packages of dirt people don't normally move out of their base? Like, just like a random, I don't know, trash that you hadn't checked or whatever, sitting on your rooftop that you haven't really thought about, suddenly gets all of your ammo or something like that and you can't find it. That would be that's so troll. It's great, but it is so damn troll. Let's see, and then this one, which is another action. Basically, it filled the entire, oh yeah, there's their new stones. Apparently the stones are bigger now than they were before, so people can find them easier. Thank you, because some people have bad vision. This is another one. It apparently filled every place with the land claim with dirt, and the worst part is by digging it out, you don't even get any clay. So that's another one. That's another thing somebody can do. What else? There's also a leaderboard for people who have helped and people who have hurt. Different things so people can get like action points, earned points, or whatever you want to call those things from either helping or hurting, and whoever is the best person at whatever that thing is. So now there's a leaderboard for those. That is amazing, actually, because typically the person who helps the content creator, the streamer, or whatever, doesn't really get anything other than the feel-good sensation of giving them something. Now they actually have a leaderboard, and they're working towards getting like extra points or something like that, which is pretty nice. Okay, and then at the tail end of all of this, I have not actually gone over the console update because they really didn't tell us anything very, very new about the console update. Other than this is actually on console right now. This is Alpha 21B261. That is actually them playtesting on, I think they said, an Xbox One or something, the newest gen Xbox. I've never actually owned an Xbox, so I do apologize. I was a PlayStation person before I got myself a computer. So I think they're planning on this whole thing coming out on the next gen consoles. It's not going to be for like PlayStation 4 or something like that. It's going to be the next gen consoles, and they have already got a working prototype of it so far. So basically, they've built it up and they're working on it, and it will be coming out whenever the game goes gold. They're talking about between this alpha, next alpha, possibly the next alpha, they will finally have a model ready for the consoles. And that's basically it. They gave no dates on it. In general, I can tell you that the way that they're talking, it is not going to take as long as it took this particular time for them to bring out this alpha. There was a whole lot of new changes that needed to happen. The next alpha they are predicting will come out faster than the previous alphas. We shall see. That is it. I'm not going to try and stretch this out anymore. It's already been a very long video, and there wasn't really a ton of stuff to cover, and not a whole lot of tinfoil hat theory stuff going on, except that now we probably have an idea of what the car does, and probably an idea of what several other events are, but the event system also means that those events might be going towards stuff that's going to be happening with the story that will be coming later on when it goes gold. And it also tells me that there is a very good chance, since they started programming event stuff, and I know that you can do an event that turns your character Uno reverse because that gets done to me all the time, there's a very good chance that they could actually add teleporters to the travelers areas just by doing a phone call, because accessing the ham radio could be an event. That's the biggest tinfoil hat theory. I still think it's entirely possible. Maybe not this alpha, maybe not next alpha, but I still think it's a possibility. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the day. I will see you guys next time. You have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and you stay shiny.